Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
Hello, travelers. PA Nightmares here. I've noticed that over 30% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So, if you're a new or a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you like what I do, liking the video and commenting as well, as it really helps push this video into the algorithm and it really does help the channel grow. Well, I've taken enough of your time. On to the main event. A job as a pizza delivery driver can be dangerous, but I'm sure most of you already knew that. However, my job is dangerous for different reasons. What do I mean by that? Well, to start, call me Pete. Though most people in my town just call me the Pizza Man, some even just call me Pizza Pete. Now, as for which town I live in, I'm not going to say, for two reasons. One, the fewer people that are here, the easier my job is. And two, our town is dangerous, not just for the usual reasons I'm going to describe, but also the fact we have a lot of crime in our area. You see, people in my town are fucking crazy. I've been stabbed by someone because I didn't bring them a cold bottle of soda. Yes, that actually happened to me. Now that you have at least a vague idea of the kind of area I live in, let me tell you where I work. I work at a mom and pop's pizza place. The owners named it after themselves, so I can't tell you what it's actually called, but for the purpose of this post and any future ones, I'll be referring to it as formaggio's. That means cheese in Italian, and I'll be referring to the owners, aka my bosses, as Mr. and Mrs. Formaggio. Their pizza shop happens to be the only pizza place in town, unless you happen to count places like grocery stores where you can get frozen pizzas. And while those pizzas are alright, they pale in comparison to the pizzas Formaggio makes. But enough of that. You're probably waiting for me to elaborate on what I meant by unusual reasons. I mentioned that the people in the town I live in are nuts, but it's not just that. The town seems to attract crazies on top of all that other weird shit. And sure, occasionally a relatively normal person will come to our town, but those types of people clearly want to get through it as quickly as they can. Even rarer are the supposed normal people who decide they want to move here, usually because they want to live somewhere quiet. What usually happens to those types of people is that they turn out to be the craziest people of all, or they go missing. As a matter of fact, a town's junkyard is filled with the abandoned, mangled cars of the people that went missing. Sometimes there'll be a license plate left over that the local police are able to figure out a missing person's address and get in contact with the loved ones. If they don't have a wallet or something like that got left behind that they can look through, I have a sneaking suspicion that some of the cops keep the money found in those wallets and purses for themselves. But hey, they're at least somewhat competent at their jobs, so I'll give them that. While there have been a few cars found that have been damaged in abnormal ways, most cars here are damaged in car wrecks. I know that seems like a no-brainer, but we actually have a pretty serious drunk driving problem. Anyway, I should probably expand on the whole abnormal ways thing. For one, the cars almost always seem to be found far away from the road. Not just far away, but in pieces. It seemed almost impossible for them to get without a helicopter lifting them or something like that. I even saw one police report that they found a car stuck in a tree. I should probably mention the trees around here are mostly oak and range from 80 to 100 feet in height, so it would be almost impossible for it to end up there on its own. That's just one incident. There was another where a car had been found that looked like something had pushed the front and back ends together. In that case, a body was recovered. Luckily, his wallet was still there. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to identify him. But people going missing isn't the strange thing that happens in our town. It's when they come back. Usually, after about a month or so, We tend to call those people the returned, for lack of a better word. Anyways, at first, you might want to call them zombies, but the strange thing is, these people aren't technically undead. And while I know that word doesn't necessarily apply to something undead, I don't want you to think I'm talking about flesh eaters. That being said, the returned are extremely dangerous. I'm going to tell you about the encounter I had with one just yesterday. It was around 6 a.m. when I woke up, then went outside. Mr. Formaggio has me come in between 8 and 8:30 to do prep for the day. Since my shifts usually tend to end up being 10 to 12 hour ones, I'm usually too tired to get any exercise when I get back, so I choose to do it in the morning. Anyway, I had been walking around for about a half an hour. During this time, no shops had opened up yet. They all wait till sunrise to do that. I had walked to the center of town, where Formaggio's is located by the way, when I noticed someone on the other side of the street. They were facing away from me, and were making these jittery movements. Thinking that it was just some meth head or something, I continued my walk. It didn't take me long to realize that this person was trying to track me. Annoyed, I considered heading back to my place. I do keep a pocket knife and a gun on me, so if this person did try something, I wouldn't have much issue trying to fight them off. However, I didn't want it to come to that. I'd rather not have to stab or shoot someone. As I was considering heading home, the person turned to me. The first thing I noticed about them was their glowing yellow eyes. They stepped closer under the streetlight, and I was able to see everything about them. The person in question turned out to be a female. Her skin was pale, and her hair was blonde with multiple patches of gray running through it. We looked at each other for a few moments, before she made this rattling shriek. Her body contorted, making several loud cracks, until her hands and feet were on the ground in like a spider pose. Quickly she started crawling across the street towards me. I didn't hesitate to pull out my gun, then shot her point blank in the head. She fell over, and after twitching for a few moments, fell still. By this time the sun was starting to show itself, and several people had come outside, no doubt having heard the gunshot, one of whom was the town sheriff named Chuck. I made sure to put my gun away before he approached me, still in his pajamas. He looked down at the woman's body, then to me, and asked, "Another one?" "Yep," I replied. He sighed and said, "God damn it, how do these people always end up like this?" "Huh, beats me. Just so you know, it was another one of those spider ones again." "I figured, the way her limbs are bent." "Do you need me to come to the station and answer any questions?" "That won't be necessary, Pete. We can take care of the body. But we will be ordering pizza later today, so you'll be coming by later anyways. Speaking of, what's the specials this week? I haven't had a chance to check it out." "Hey, I'm glad you asked. I actually have a seasonal feta cheese pizza with sausage and black olives." "I might have to give that a try." "I highly recommend that. And oh shit, it's almost 7. I have to get home so I can get ready for work." "No problem, Pete. Take care." "You too," I told Chuck, then started sprinting back towards my house. I know that seems like a pretty mundane reaction to what I just described, but as you've probably figured out, this isn't the first time something like that has happened in our town. Hell, that wasn't even my first time encountering something like that, nor am I the only one in town who has had something like that happen to them. Ask around town if people have witnessed anything strange. Chances are you'll get a story like mine, if not one even weirder. Anyways, thankfully for me, I didn't run into any more trouble on the way home. However, I did notice some things were amiss. Mostly, I was seeing moving shapes in the woods nearby, but I couldn't really make them out due to how far away they were. All I noticed about them was they had glowing eyes similar to the woman I saw. The only difference was their eyes were glowing with multiple different colors, not just yellow. One particular pair of eyes gave me an uneasy feeling. Those were a pair of amber eyes that almost seemed to flicker like a flame. The reason they had made me feel uneasy was that I hadn't seen any creature with those eyes, and I hadn't heard about anyone who had seen it either. I decided to ignore it and head inside. An hour or so later, I had gotten ready, then headed to work. Mr. and Mrs. Formaggio greeted me when I arrived. "Hey, Pete, I heard what happened. You alright?" Mr. Formaggio asked. "I'm fine, thanks for asking though. Besides prepping, is there anything I should know about?" "Carl called in another order. He said he's going to want 5 of the specialty pizzas and a Caesar salad," Mrs. Formaggio said. Carl is the one who owns the gun store in town. Most people know him as Crazy Carl, and while there is something off about him, he's ironically our best and most polite customer. At least, I haven't had any issues with the guy. In fact, he's saved several people around town from the returned and other creatures. Will do. I'll be sure to deliver the order to him later today. Oh, by the way, we'll probably be getting a call from Chuck wanting some of the specialty pizzas later today. Thanks for letting us know, Pete. Can you do us a favor and make 20 more portions than usual for when he calls? Mr. Formaggio asked. Will do, I said, and then got to work. After prepping everything and heating up the ovens, I made sure to set up the tables. We actually have a pretty nice sit-down area for the people who feel like eating inside the restaurant. Anyway, the day went pretty well at first. Then, around 5, Carl and Chuck called in their orders. It took about an hour to make all their pizzas, and I was the one that had to deliver them. The station and Carl's store are located near each other, so it wasn't much of an issue for me to deliver them there. I usually end up using Mr. Formaggio's car to make deliveries. Crazy Carl's was the first place I stopped at. I walked into a store carrying the 5 pizzas and a bottle of Coke. Pizza Pete, I'm glad to see you. I've been waiting all day for these bad boys, he said, taking the pizza and soda from me. I hope you enjoy it, Carl. I'd love to stay and chat for a few minutes, but I gotta make a delivery to the station. Take care of yourself then, and be careful. I heard there may be a thunderstorm today. I will. I actually had a run-in with a return this morning. I heard about that. I had myself a run-in with one of them flying creatures. I heard about those. When did it happen? A few nights ago. That son of a bitch woke me up at like 3 in the morning by landing on my roof. It tried to attack me as soon as I stepped outside, but you know how quick I am with my shots. My shotgun got the bastard to one of its legs. I would have finished it off, but the pussy flew in the woods. I see. I'll be sure to stay on my guard then. Later. See ya, Carl told me. After that, I headed to the station. I was lucky enough to have Chuck approach my car. Hey, everything's at the station, I asked, putting my window down and handing him the food. Been pretty good. We'll need to make more of that special ammo, though. How've things been for you since the return incident, I mean? Huh? I delivered to Carl today. He told me that one of those flying creatures attacked him a few nights ago. Can't say I'm surprised. You'd think he'd have moved closer to town by now, instead of living in the woods. Well, everyone knows the man enjoys his solitude. Anyway, I gotta get back to the store. Enjoy the food. Judging by this wonderful smell. I will. Take care, Pete, he told me. I waved him goodbye, then headed back to Formaggio's. I worked a couple more hours until my shift ended around 8:30. When I headed out, it was starting to rain. By the time I got home, it was pouring. The rain has still been going on since last night. Fortunately, I have the weekends off, except for when I get called in. So, I've just been playing games all day. I'll update you all if something else happens. Remember, to stay safe and have fun. This is Pizza Pete, signing out. I would like to thank tonight's author or authors for allowing me to use their works. If you enjoyed this, the authors' links will be in the description below. Please check them out and let them know PA sent you. Also, if you like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to my merch store, my website, and all my other social medias will be in the description below. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to all my lovely Patreons. All of their names will appear on screen. I'll make sure to put all their links in the description below so you guys can check them out as well if you'd like.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.